From LPM,
Louisville Public Media.
Support for LPM podcasts comes from the Eye Care Institute and Butchertown Clinical Trials, where they strive for diversity, equity, and inclusion within their staff, patients, and clinical trial participants. To learn more, visit butchertown.clinic.
You're listening to Where Y'all Really From? I'm your host, Dan Wu, and today we are heading towards Eastern Kentucky. Our special guests are a mom and daughter duo from Harlan, Kentucky. Joyce Chen, who is a restaurateur. Welcome, Joyce.
Hi.
And her daughter, Xiao-Yin Chen. Welcome, Yin.
Hi, everyone.
All right. So actually, we are doing this one over Skype because for those who don't know Kentucky geography, Harlan's about 2.5 hours away from Lexington. And with gas prices being what they are, we did not meet in person. And more importantly, Xiao-Yin is in the Atlanta area, so which made getting together even more difficult. So we're doing this over Zoom. Joyce, let's start with you. We start the show as we always do. Where are you from, Joyce?
I'm from Fujian, main China, from east side of China. And I come in the United States 1984.
How about you, Xiao-Yin?
I was born and raised in Harlan, Kentucky.
Yeah, but where are you really from?
Where am I really from? I would say Harlan, Kentucky. That's my solid answer.
So, you know, this is a question that Asian Americans get here all the time. And you get that second layer of question, that sort of interrogation where they don't believe your first answer, especially if your first answer is something like Harlan or Lexington. So, Xiao-Yin, when you get that sort of interrogation, like how do you feel about it? How do you sort of deal with it? How do you respond to it?
Yeah. So I get it a lot, especially now that I'm in Atlanta. It could be frustrating, but I answer that I'm from Kentucky, that I was born in Kentucky, and then they're pressing a little bit more. I'll tell them that like my heritage is Chinese, and that's sort of where my family's from, but I don't go that much beyond that.
Yeah.
That's what they want to hear most of the time, and they're happy.
Exactly. You kind of figure that out. Like that's their sort of final answer. Joyce has it easier. She goes straight to the final answer, and there's no second question involved there. For those who don't know, Harlan is a super duper small town in the southeast tip of Kentucky. I think at the last census, you guys are just below like 2,000 people. Is that right?
Yep.
So Joyce, what brought you to such a little tiny place in the middle of Kentucky?
I live in, my parents, we have a small restaurant back in Connecticut back in 1987. One was high school. Actually, I graduated in Bristol Eastern High School. And my parents, it's called, most people call tiger parent. You can't do any work. You just basic studies is all you do. You go school and you go straight home. You go school, you go straight home. And my parents own a restaurant, so we go half day school, then we go restaurant help out. And basically, I never been out. I know I've been in America for 5 years. We never do anything. So it made me have a dream about America. Very dream, but like, because I'm 13 years old, when I come to America, I know I was in America, but my parents still treat like we're in China. And it's, I guess your age 13, 14, you have that rebellion. You feel like, why am I in America? But I can't. My family is like, you don't allow to go to McDonald's. You don't allow to go to Pizza Hut after movie. We don't even allow to drink Coke. Chinese like hot water, cold water. And so as I grow in high school, I have a dream. I always have a dream. See, like, well, I just can't wait for everybody. Like everybody just can't wait until I grow up. I could leave home, find my own. So I always have this song, Hotel California, in my mind. If you ever listen to Hotel California, you just had to imagine yourself, with a sunny day, you drive down the road.
Mhm.
That song's always on my mind. And so when I was first have a contract working for 3 months for my local uncle, we call it, because he's a very rich man. He have a restaurant like all the way from Connecticut to North Carolina, Virginia, all the way Kentucky. And no one want to go to Kentucky. And because I work in a restaurant, so I know how to take care of the restaurant. And I was like 22 years old, and no one will go. And they say, well, anybody will take a 20% raise, salary will go. I said, yeah, why not? 20% more. I go down there I could go 3 months. And I still remember I was taking bus, take 24-hour bus. And
Wow.
that's the get to the Corbin. I didn't know there's not a 2 hour from Corbin to Harlan.
Yeah.
But I was in the bus for 24 hours. And I was really expect Kentucky is a chicken farm, because I thought about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
All the way down. I don't see a chicken farm at all. I was kind of disappointed. And I was 22, like you said, I was 22. I was looking forward to finally leave my parents. I don't want to say run away, but I always told my kid, I kind of happy run away. But my parents say, where are you going? And I was like, I don't care where I'm going, as long I get to be my own, because I never see American, really see American, for 5-6 years. I heard about America, even I live in America. And when I come to Kentucky, I really want to say it was amazing me, because I always thought, when you live in Connecticut's like New York City, big city, with a lot of crime, and when you live through 16 to 21, you kind of like a brainwashed from this family. There's a lot of crime. You're a girl. You don't allowed to go out after dark. You don't hang out with your friend. You still stay in your little group, your family group or your cousin group. Very protected. So when I come to Kentucky, then I realize one thing. Man, American's so big, because I always thought American is like where we live at. It's like whole Americans like that. But first step, I must take big step. And I never regret the step I took, because I'm agree with that. And when I come to Kentucky, I have to say there's 3 things made me to stay. I signed another contract after 3 months. First thing is the rent was $300. That included electric bill. So which means I could turn my air conditioner on all day long. People never live in city. They have no idea. To save money, you don't turn the air conditioner when you midnight, when you start sweat. My parents always say, go take a cold shower. You can sleep better. And second thing is a movie. I love watch movie. And New York that time, like if you drink Coke, popcorn costs $20, but here is $1. Can you believe $1 for a movie ticket? Harlan is small town, but it was just $1. Just so. And third thing is the clothes. The clothes just $5. You could get a nice outfit for $10. I'm a girl. I like to dress up. But back in New York, we always have a hand-down clothes from your cousin. It's not a big deal that time. But you always feel like, I want to go to the store, pay my own outfit, like your own outfit. Not say your cousin say, hey, May, this fit you. May, this, I don't call by Joyce until I come to Kentucky. But that's 3 things that I realized that I could save money for my own future. I never dreamed, when I was 20, in Chinese in my generation back then, parents already taught you, we find you a good man to marry. That's our thing. Okay, we just kind of wait for the parent find us a good man to marry. That's our life. And pretty sure my parent, because we have a restaurant, so my parent make sure the boy I'm going to marry have a restaurant too. So I kind of plan to do that. But I like say, I always have a dream, American dream. I want to be my own. I don't want to become my cousin. Just get married, take care, First, you take care of your parents' restaurants just because you know some English. Then you could take care of your husband's family restaurant and do that. But not me. I always I want to have a dream. So I decided to stay in Kentucky 3 months after 3 months after 3 months, because when I see my money grow, I see my money, I only spend 10%. Like back in that time, I made $2,000, but my money only literature less than $500 for a span. So I decided to stay, to stay more, but I didn't go anywhere because I'm still afraid. And so I met my husband at the restaurant, and I was kind of brainwashed him. I say, and he's from China, so he never have dream. He always say, I have a full general in my life. I told him, well, I said, if you stay in Kentucky with me, we will have a car and have a house one day. But if you go back to New York, we might do everybody else doing our life, just because back my generation, like I said, I'm 50, but when you talk about back in when I was 20, back in 1980 something, 90 something, all Chinese people have one dream: make money, go back to China. Make money, save all your money, go back to China. But they don't have a life in America. Not me. I said, I want to have a life. I want to one day take my kid out to watch movie, take them to McDonald's, take them to eat pizza after. I just want to. I have a very, very strong say. I come to America. My parents make me come to America. That's a reason. But last generation, they don't realize what was the point you come to America, but you live in Chinese culture. You live in China. I mean, what was the point you suffer your kid? Because I feel like, so I did talk to a lot of Asia kids. They did that. Even some of today, I was amazing. Some Asia kids still suffer for that. I wish some of the parents would wake up. You bring all your kids to America for better education, say to be better life, but you never let your kid to become American.
Yeah,
they feel like you make your kid suffer, and they don't know how to tell you, because if they tell you, Mom, I don't like it here, they hurt your feeling. So a lot of kids tend to hold their feeling, but soon they're 18, 19 years old. They don't speak to their parent anymore. I have a lot of parents. I have a lot of like my cousin, they're my age. How can your kid, like my kid? Oh, I make sure they're full American. I let them do anything they want. I let them sign up all the ball game, anything they want to join. Yes, I have a argument with my family. Say, you let your kid to be wild. You let your kid to be under control. They told my kid. I say, there's only two things I need to know. My kid's happy and they do good grade. That's all I care. I don't want to save up the money. I see a lot of Asian, I guess, in their background, I understand they need to save up the money so they could buy a better house. So in front of their family, they have a more pride. My pride is I'm going to live in very bad shape house, spend all my money on my kid. I take them to vacation. I will drive. They don't know. You don't know. I usually have to. I only have 1 day off. 1 day off. I left at 3 a.m. I stay awake medicine. Drive 3 hours away. Just take them to water park. Take them to snowboarding. And I will wait just anywhere within 3 miles, because like you say, Kentucky is a very small town. Anything I need to do for them is long drive. But I never let my kid miss out. See, first time I drive 12 hours, middle of nowhere. I told my husband, I'm going. He said, where are you going? To the beach. I said, beach? That's 12 hours. I said, I know. I mean, road trip. I only have 3 days off. That time. But I grew up on the East. I grew up on the ocean. So I told my husband, no, I made myself a promise. I wanted my kid grow as American. Not because we have a restaurant and just because only job we could find is a restaurant, and I don't let my kid enjoy what's called become American.
Well, this kind of answers the question I was going to ask, because you talked about your parents being more sort of typical tiger parents and sort of wanting to keep you in that Chinese bubble within America. And it sounds like you in your rebellion and in your own parenthood kind of went the opposite direction. of a much more sort of American style. So Xiao-Yin, like growing up, whereas your mom kind of grew up in like this Chinese bubble inside America, you're out here in Harlan, there are not a lot of Asian Americans or Chinese folks in Harlan at all, outside of your family. How would you describe sort of your upbringing? Did you feel like you had a different life? And I'm projecting a little bit here from my own sort of childhood did you feel like you had a different kind of life inside your house? And then when you left your house and went to the rest of the world, you had a different sort of life, or was it all melded together?
Yeah, I think I had a little bit of that because, going to school, there wasn't a lot of people who looked like me, didn't have a lot of friends who could really relate to some of the things that I had at home. But more generally, like I grew up when I was a little kid, I didn't even realize that I was Chinese. I did all the things that all my friends did. I would go to church on Sundays with them, like played basketball, played tennis. I cheerled for a little bit, and I got to try like so many different things that I guess most Asian American kids don't really get to dive into when they're, in a big city or really close to home. So I feel like it's a little bit of a mix of both. I wouldn't say that I was completely isolated from my culture, but I wouldn't say that I was like completely immersed into the American culture either. So it's very in between for me.
As you've gotten older, and now especially being in a much more cosmopolitan, bigger city like the Atlanta area, are you finding yourself able to explore sort of cultures and identities that maybe you didn't even get to like when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, totally. I think that's one thing that I really enjoyed like since moving here. So one like really great example is I found an Asian American gym, an Asian owned powerlifting gym in Atlanta, and so many different cultures there. But like, I see a lot of Asian people now that I had never seen growing up. I get to eat the food from like my country and other countries that I didn't get to eat growing up. My husband and I are thinking about taking a Chinese course here, so that I didn't really learn Chinese growing up. And that's something that I really regret not trying to get into. I took a few years of Mandarin in college, and so I have a little bit of that, but I really want to like dive in because I don't want to say that I feel like I missed out because I had a really great childhood, but I am making a lot of different connections here that I wasn't able to in Kentucky. And it's kind of I feel like so much growth from that as an adult now.
Yeah, Joyce, the thing that always, I grew up I guess kind of when I first came to the States, we landed in Fargo, North Dakota. So also not exactly a whole bunch of Asians or a lot of diversity at all there. And then we came to Lexington when I was in grade school, when my dad got a job at UK in Lexington. And then on my own as a young adult, I've lived in San Francisco and New York. So I've gotten experience much bigger, much more diverse places. What is it like for you, especially because you do have the contrast that when you were younger, you were in Connecticut, the New York area, where there were a lot more Asians who were surrounded by family. To you, did you have the kind of culture shock when you settled into Harlan in that there weren't any other Chinese restaurants or Asian people or culture or other things happening? Like you were it.
Yes, I did. I don't like basis. We just go into work and go home because I think more. It's my brain still feel like that's just 3 months contract. So I don't need to meet any friend, know anybody until like a year later, 2 years later. Then I feel like if I'm gonna stay here, I need to meet people, to know people. That's just after 1 year, then people cannot pronounce my name, Mei Hua. They always say Mei Hua. I say Mei Hua is my name. So we kind of back and forward. When first month, like you say, we cannot find a house for rent. I live in hotel. I live in motel for first 6 months because they don't, they don't want to rent it to Asia or any, because most white here is just like literature is like just couple percent, like 1% black, no other, just solid all white. And I pick up the name in the Bible. I start with Joyce, mean happy, but somehow everybody call me Joycey instead of Joyce. And I feel like that is a good name to go by. So after a year and later, when local people start calling, ask me, when my customers say, what's your name? I start say Joyce. So I guess that Joyce become a more connect to the local people. Because it's easy for them to say my name. So when next time they come in, they start calling me, hey, Joyce, nice Joy. Like I said, only 2,000 people. So when I go to Walmart, when I go somewhere, I feel connect. That's why I decide like buy a house and raise family here back. So it's make a lot of difference. But like that, I do have a sad story. Like when I just bought a house, we literally have a fresh egg floated in our front door every night. It's on, like, I remember when moving is Labor Day. So I had continued for like 7 days. So I kind of like, okay, this is limit. So I called the cop, and even the cop told me, what he told me? Maybe just a Halloween prank. I said, they put a toilet paper in front of my yard. I told the cop, Halloween's still a month and a half away. Can you at least check it? Because I really don't want to feel like if neighbor doesn't welcome us, we could sell the house. We just don't want to bring any trouble, because I really just want to have a family, to raise a family, because I was really like Harlan, I just have a dream. I just have a good dream about myself, not just about where I live. It's about whole America. And the cop got take care of that, and never happened again. So then my neighbor actually bought me some cookie the next few days. I guess they heard, it's a small town, so people hear the story, when they see a cop in front of your house, or they know. So they actually, their neighbors start accept me. So I feel a lot more comfortable after that. Then people start inviting me to their church, even I'm Buddhist. Like I said, I still let my kid go, because I just feel like it's not about what religion you believe. It's all about how you it's called the word. I always told my husband, it's called melt into the culture. If you want to become one of them, but like I said, I'm really lucky that like my sister, I compare to my sister, she never could really involve to their society. Like even the local town, she don't have no friends, doesn't know. But I know everybody around here, especially I've been here for 30 years. I know whose kid, I know who their grandkid now. So it's just made me feel like I'm from here now.
Yeah.
Just like daughter say, people ask me, where you from? I remember a few years back, I went to a Dollywood water park. The guy was asking me, I know he's not from America. He sounds like he's from European somewhere. He asked me, where are you from? I say, Harlan. He asked me, where China's Harlan? I said, I forgot I had to say Kentucky.
That's good.
Your mind just doesn't flip that anymore.
It's time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more with Joyce and Xiao-Yin about how restaurants become community spaces, especially in very small towns like Harlan. This is Where Y'all Really From.
Your mornings are busy, and finding the time to stay up to date on what's happening in Louisville and Southern Indiana isn't easy. I'm Bill Burton. Join me to stay informed on your terms each weekday with the LPM Daily News Briefing, the news you need to start your day, from Louisville Public Media. See you in the morning.
Welcome back to Where Y'all Really From. I'm Dan Wu. Our guests today are restaurateur Joyce Chen and her daughter Xiao-Yin Chen from Harlan, Kentucky. A lot of folks' first interactions with Asian Americans, particularly Chinese folks, is through like a Chinese restaurant. And I know, Joyce, you kind of grew up in a restaurant setting, opened your own restaurant in Harlan, and it's been going strong for 30 plus years, right?
Uh-huh.
Xiao-Yin, I guess you were also a restaurant kid. Tell me about sort of your restaurant kid experience.
Yeah, I saw a meme on the internet recently about, it's a good Chinese restaurant when there's a 10-year-old sitting in the back doing their homework. And that was 100% me growing up in the restaurant. So, I mean, I remember working the cash register as soon as I could count money. We would be there, 10, 12 hours a day, even as a little kid. I would like sleep on the dining room table chairs as a kid. And that was like our life back then. I think what's really cool about growing up in a restaurant is there's so much like community connection around food. Especially if you're kind of a new food. So we were like the only Chinese restaurant in our hometown. And so I would get my friends and we'd go eat at the restaurant. And it was kind of like how I made friends, like come eat at our restaurant. You don't even, just try our food. And so that was like a big sort of social, I guess, currency that I had was my parents had this restaurant and we could invite all our friends over and have them try something new and different. That was my life.
As you were getting older, I mean, your mom said, there was a good deal of her when she was younger wanting to kind of escape her parents and escape that sort of insulated world, and Harlan kind of gave her that opportunity. As you were growing up, did you have that sort of notion of like wanting to escape this small little place and find something bigger or different?
I think so. I think everyone kind of has that when they're younger and they've been in a place for so long. I feel like I didn't really want to get out as much. I felt like I wanted more people to come in to learn about my culture more so. So, as I started getting older, I would invite people to celebrate Chinese New Year and sort of like teaching them about like, why are we burning this money? What are we doing? What's the New Year mean? It's February, So I felt more of a draw towards that, like inviting people in, as opposed to I want to get away from here. There's no Asian people here, so I need to run. Because I really felt at home in Harlan. I had a lot of friends that, in my wedding, every single one of them was from Harlan. So not as much of rebellious, I need to get away, although a little bit of that just because, everyone has to leave at some point. To just explore the world elsewhere.
And Joyce, for you, like having your daughter, grow up beside you in the restaurant, like, did you want her to like stay and work in the restaurant, or did you want her to get as far away as possible and explore the world?
I want her to get away. When I raised her in a restaurant, I know people don't realize when she was born, she's my oldest, and my money was tight. I can't find a babysitter. And I can't find anybody who I could trust. And I need to work because that year after Mary, she was born. And I still remember one night, she was 9 months old. And she just keep crying. It was Friday night. I cried at the same time because I have so many orders in front of me that I know I had to take care. And she literally just cried for an hour and a half. And my husband's got mad, and I had to say that it'll be fine. She could be better seen in the future. And it's just raising the kid. I have made the kid grow up in a restaurant. I do have a decision to make. One decision is I want them to know it's just something that. When I grow up, I saw a lot of my parent restaurant generation. They have a miscommunication. They don't speak each other at all. And I don't want to happen to my kid. If I left them home I really, like I say, when they was little, I feel bad every morning. I drop down to daycare. Like I have 4 kids. Young's 5 when my last one born. So I have 4 then under 5. And so when I take them to take care, I have to bet the daycare. Will you change their clothes before I pick them up just to make myself feel better? because I know I have to work because like maybe just because I grew up in Chinese society, I know when I have them, I know what my responsibility is. My responsibility is just not they're born. I have to think about what their education in the future. I never could go to college. So I want to make sure, because I remember my parents told me, we don't have the money for you to go to college. So this kind of like, I grow up, I had to say money is very important for me. And because I had to think about when they're 16, I know I'm kind of parent. If I don't work hard right now, how do I provide them for all these stuff they sign up? How do I can help them when they have to get their license? How do I go to college? So I still remember I kind of like parent, and my husband always say, it's too hard on me, to think that so far away, 15 years. But I said, I have to. So I told my husband want me to stay home, take care of them. I say, no, I could take care of them, but our income will not meet. And I do not want, when they 16 years old, and I look at them say, I can't afford to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
I can't let you buy even used car. I just don't want to, I guess I don't want to repeat what my parents have to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And knowledge problem. I didn't know there's such thing called scholarship. That time they were just born. I don't know anything about school. You could apply for scholarship. I mean, if I know, I won't have to go through that hard. But when they born, I'm only 23 years old. So it's just a lot of information. Like I told earlier, I'm American, but I don't get connected into an American world. So I don't know anything about, internet is not like today. You could go Google it. You could look it up. I mean, my parents we don't even, you don't want to know how do I watch TV? How do I watch cartoon? I begged my parents if let me stay in my friend's house so I could watch my favorite cartoon, Lucy. I love Lucy. That's how I watch Lucy. My parents have no cable, no TV at home. So when they was born, it's very hard for me to take care and pick them up around the daycare close to 5. And I still had to work so long. So I will adjust around the restaurant. So make sure I know my health department restaurant. I mean, he usually come in, you know what he say to me? He say, Joyce, if working on you work so hard and so nice, your pay plan will not pass the law. Because when Yang is 5, I want to teach her myself, teach her how to do homework, color with her. Mm-hmm. I usually have like a free TV at the restaurant, free TV for my 2 years old, 4 years old, and 6 years old. And I make sure they have, because the volume they can't turn high because in a restaurant. So they had to read a catcher on the bottom.
Oh,
and I don't realize that when my kid went to 2nd grade and they all speed reading. See, a lot of things I learned by how do I make the life fit in.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing that you taught your kids to read with closed captioning from TV.
Yes, but most important is we together for another 3-4 hours before I took off working. Yeah. So that's something I feel bad for them, but I look back, I'm happy I made that decision. My decision maybe it's not good start on because I'm thinking about their future, but it's also I realize it's the way we bounce together. Mm-hmm. Like I still remember my younger daughter. She was like 6 years old, 1st grade. She's the worst math. She don't know how to count money. She was screaming at me one day. You know what she say? Ma, you always give money to Yan and Jacob. I never get to touch the money. That's why I don't know. She was only 6 years old. I get me a booster chair and flip the. Now on, you do check out. I let Yan do check out when she was 10, but I let other one check out at 6 years old. And she was happy on the first day she worked because she get a lot of teeth. She asked me, Ma, can I keep the teeth? Because they give it to me. I said, yeah, you could stay up for your college. So in some point, yes, I made the kid grow up at the restaurant, but also they learn so much about the value of the restaurant. like my younger daughter read about greedy her money because she knows she had to work hard for her money. So all my kids learned the hard working. They saw us working. So, and I had to tell my kid how hard for mom to raise all four of you to go to college, all four of them. And actually all four of my kids got full scholarship. Because I guess I brainwashed them enough when they're young. That's good thing. I always tell my kids, restaurant is not about restaurant. I like history. So I had to tell them, think about this is a farm.
Mm-hmm.
You get to take care of part of the farm. So is you just as a farm family, not as a restaurant family. So you get to respond your job when you grow up. And it's a good adventure for me. That's I always say. You're gonna do homework, you're gonna wash dishes. Yeah. My son hate mop the floor. I said, you gonna finish your homework or you gonna mop the floor? So they all sit there do homework. So I had to say restaurant helped me raise my kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just like money part. I think it's the life value part that they learn.
Yeah.
I wish there's more small restaurant, not just about Chinese restaurant. I think our culture, American culture, is we lost the small business. So their generation, their younger kid can't see that anymore. And they all learn by going to college and going to factory work or going to big company work. But they don't see the small business anymore.
Yeah.
So I wish there's more like that. But somehow, our everywhere is going, the business like no longer exists, the big company all take over.
Right. Yeah. So Xiao-Yin, when you're now living in a bigger city, and this kind of goes back to, I watched a TEDx talk that you did, and you were kind of talking about your dual identities of being Appalachian and being Asian or being Chinese. What is the kind of either a stereotype or a thought that you want to dispel when people meet you about either of those identities?
That's a good question. Well, I think one thing to dispel is that there are Asian people in Kentucky and in Appalachia, more specifically. There are people of color in Appalachia that people forget a lot. They assume that Appalachia is very white, very farm-like, homesteading kind of people, and that's true in some senses. But there's some diversity in Appalachia that is often overlooked. So I think that's probably the biggest myth that I'd like to bust. I did also a really cool interview series, specifically interviewing people of color in Appalachia. And it was just really cool to hear people's stories about, how did they get to Appalachia and what was growing up there like for them from their perspective. And I feel like those voices are voices that we need to hear so that people kind of get the idea that there are more people in Appalachia that you might not assume what they look like or are like.
Yeah, exactly. That's right in line with the mission of this show as well.
Yeah.
Well, we are to the point where it is time for lightning round. Are you all ready? All right.
I'm ready.
We'll start with Xiao-Yin. What is your superpower?
Well, I struggled with this one a little bit. I think that my superpower is adaptability. Like, I think that you could put me sort of anywhere and I would figure my way out. I think I've had a lot of experience in places where I'm uncomfortable or I'm like the only person and I have to like learn a new experience. And so
I will say that is definitely a sort of immigrant superpower that I think we all absolutely have to go to a completely new place and start a whole new life.
Right.
For sure. What about you, Joyce? What's your superpower?
I run.
I
run. How do I say it? Is anytime I have a hot problem decision to make, I went to run. I went to track and run.
Yeah.
I run as fast as I can. While there 2 minutes each lap, I think, what can I do? So anytime I have a hard decision, I always say I go for run for 1 mile, then I tell you.
No, that's good. I like that.
Because and I always say if I could make it in 2 minutes or if I could make it in 1 minute, there's nothing harder than running.
There you go. You got it. Xiao-Yin, what is your favorite song to jam out to?
This is very hard for me because I can think of a favorite singer. I'm the biggest Swiftie fan, like Taylor Swift fan in probably all of Kentucky. So my absolute favorite song by Taylor Swift is Treacherous, particularly because I like the quote, "Nothing safe is worth the drive," which like makes me like take risk and try new things. It's sort of like a you only live once kind of mantra that I follow.
Joyce, what's your favorite song to jam out to?
Hotel California.
Hotel California. Nice. Xiao-Yin, what's your favorite comfort food?
Yeah, so when you said comfort food, I was a little like, do they mean like just my comfort food or like specifically a Southern comfort food? But I went totally Asian with this. I really love congee or jok. That's my favorite thing probably in the world. I could eat it every single day.
Yeah, that is my also not feel good food. And I don't even like to make it myself. It has to be made by my mom. What about you, Joyce?
Pizza.
Pizza. What do you like on your pizza?
Pepperoni or cheese.
Okay, pretty classic. Yeah.
It just no matter. I could be very depressing. If I eat a large pizza, I'm good to go.
Nice.
If I'm very happy today, I say, kid, let's order pizza. It's just like pizza is always happy ending.
Yeah.
Always happy ending.
Xiao-Yin, what's the most Kentucky thing that you do?
I think that I have an appreciation for like the slow down moments that a lot of like bigger city people don't have. I really like going on walks and just being out in nature. I'd say that's probably the most Kentucky thing about me.
What about you, Joyce? What's the most Kentucky thing that you do?
I don't have to think about what I wear. I just go anywhere. I know. My kid always laugh at me, Ma, you can't wear that. You can't wear that PJ to movie theater. I said, everybody else does. I say, I find my place could be who I am. I don't have to put makeup on. I don't have to worry about like what do I just think about. Just go out to anything. I run. I just go wherever I want to. If I have my short or jacket, t-shirts on, I just go. I just feel more like I'm in nature. I get Kentucky enough, especially when I run. We live in where the Bad Mountain. We live in top Bad Mountain, So you just get more connected to nature. I think Kentucky just give free land that you see a tree all the time. Make you feel a lot connected to bases that you don't have to fake yourself or you have to put a makeup on, see a friend. You just be who you are, and that's what I liked about. I know my kid always laugh at me, Ma. I say, well, I'm in Kentucky, right?
That's part of your job as a parent to keep embarrassing your kids anyway.
Yeah, I know they always do that. But I had to say, I know a lot of people was talk about, like Appalachian, they think about lay back, but I had to kind of speak up for them. People don't realize it's not because they don't want to dress nice or they look like, how do I say it? People, what's the word they always say? Appalachian people kind of poor. How does it? They just like a lot say they say they're some of the junkie. They look junkie or they are just, they don't fix their yard, they don't fix their kid. But people tend to forget you in Kentucky. It also means people are a lot laid back. They find it inside who they are more happy than what they look. You got people might pile up junk thing around their yard. But people doesn't ask them. That junk yard might be from their grandparent. That piece outside is not good looking to you, but it's meaningful to them. They don't clean up because they more value. They stay together. That's just one thing every time when I hear people talk about Everett, I kind of like stand up for them.
Mm-hmm.
I say, you need to live in Kentucky more than 10 years to feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys from clean place, nice, better job. Just think about outfits we wear. We can't go shop 3 hours to the mall. It takes 3 hours to the mall. Okay? I still remember my kid want to go 3 hours to the mall. They want to go to the mall. I had to get a 6 o'clock to take them to the mall and drive back. And they have a limited sources. So who don't want to clean up? Like I have to tell you, I go to movie theater with my PJ on. I just tell people, if you ever try it. Then that movie theater will become your most enjoyable because you're so relaxed. I mean, of course, today you got Netflix. You could watch at home with pajamas. But you talk about 20, 30 years ago. I mean, you had to go through. I still remember when I was young. Oh, let's go watch a movie at 7:30. Right? We end at 9:30 because we had to fix the hair. We had to pay the outfit. Just go watch a movie while there's no one see us. It's needless no one see us in the movie in the dark. But you had to go through that hot. But after I wear PJ, I get to lay back. I take my shoes off. I know, don't. My daughters always say, "You just in comfortable, very comfortable." See, I don't learn that after I've been here for longer. So it's a that's difference between small town and a big city. See, big city embarrass yourself to death.
Right.
But small town, it's kind of like that's life. I'm happy. I think it's more about happy. You find the location that make you happy. It's really not about where do you live. It's more about you have to find that place, that location. You feel you fit into that position. You fit in that community. Then you'll be a lot more happy in your life. Don't struggle. Don't struggle living someplace that doesn't fit in and you're not even happy. You could live in perfect place, but you're not happy.
Well, Joyce Chen and Xiao-Yin Chen, thank you all so much. It was so great talking to you all.
Well, thank you for inviting me for this, because my daughter say, "Ma, you could be great." I never tell anybody this, so I'm just so happy.
Yeah. At some point, I'll pack up some pajamas and come see a movie with you down in Harlan.
You do that. Well, you do that.
All right. Y'all been listening to Where Y'all Really From.
Where Y'all Really From is created and produced by Dan Wu, Charlene Buckles, May Suramek, and me, Nima Kulkarni. Our executive producer is Laura Ellis. Our associate producer is Alex Biscardi. Kojin Tashiro wrote our theme song, and Leanne Gann created our logo. Where Y'all Really From is part of the Louisville Public Media Podcast Incubator, with support from the Eye Care Institute's Butchertown Clinical Trials. Our Lexington interviews are recorded at Radio Lex with engineering and assistance by Mark Royce. For more information and to keep in touch, visit whereyallreallyfrom.org.
Support for LPM podcasts comes from the Eye Care Institute and Butchertown Clinical Trials, where they strive for diversity, equity, and inclusion within their staff, patients, and clinical trial participants. To learn more, visit butchertown.clinic.